It's a pleasure to be here today at the Drucker School, of which my husband is an alum. Unfortunately, he couldn't join today because he's watching our boys race in the cross-country state championship in Washington. But I'm here in his stead. Actually, he's not media sales, I am, but he also works at Pokémon. Anyway, I've been with the Pokémon company for over 10 years, and I've seen a dramatic transition in children's television over the last decade. And today I'll be covering some of the industry trends that I've noticed and that have helped shape our strategy at Pokémon. And I remember the days when my boys, who are now 16 and 17, used to sit in front of the TV and click between Nickelodeon, Disney, and Cartoon Network, and maybe an occasional PBS. But that was all they could do, and that's how they watched TV. The broadcasters controlled what they could watch. Today, if they watch TV, which they rarely do, it's usually Netflix, Amazon, or maybe sports, along with YouTube. Anyway, I would say kids media viewing continues to radically change with technology advances, providing new ways to consume content on TV and online. Gone are the days of the broadcasters dictating how children could view what they wanted to watch. And companies need to adapt to engage children across platforms however they choose to enjoy it. Otherwise, they will no longer be relevant. Here's just some background on the transition to digital television. I'm sure you all are well aware of digital television. You probably watch it every day. It's become a part of our daily life. I would say television has become quite a bit more complex than the old days of analog TV. Analog TV was standard in the 20th century, with TV options limited to those using an antenna or cable into the house. At that time, broadcasters dictated what you could watch when you could watch it. And then digital television took over in the 2000s, and this really resulted from Congress mandating the change to digital television starting in 1996 and then culminating in 2009 in the United States. With digital TV, the broadcasters were able to offer multiple channels of programming with better picture quality and sound quality. And once digital television was introduced, the number of platforms multiplied to include satellite, Internet Protocol TV, and that was followed by digital video on demand that allows folks to watch TV anytime, any place, on any device. And as you can see, this transition from analog to digital is a global event. While the US is complete, the transition is still continuing around the globe and is forecasted to be complete by 2021, when you can see the purple part of the chart disappear. Now, during this time, cable has also evolved with the digital transition, offering new services like HDTV, on-demand programming, and other advanced services. I'd say as the new millennium got underway, cable companies began pilot testing video services like video on demand, streaming or subscription video on demand, interactive TV, and other new ways to watch television. The industry proceeded cautiously because the cost of upgrading customer equipment in their homes was quite expensive and required new business models. The digital transition leapt forward in around 2003 when there were substantial gains made in the deployment of HDTV and video on demand and digital cable and all the other digital services that many of us now enjoy and take for granted, to be honest. I would say Netflix is a great example of how the transition to digital VOD is accelerating. Netflix has just doubled its subscriber base in the last 5 years, and just this last January passed a major milestone when it surpassed the largest cable providers in the US for the first time. Now, while cable only represents about 50% of the US pay market as a whole, it is by far the most popular way of getting pay TV. So with Netflix surpassing cable, it's well on its way to becoming the #1 source of entertainment in the homes. What's interesting is that Netflix reached this goal mainly by growing its own subscriber base, not having people cut the cord. During this time frame, Netflix added 27 million subscribers, but cable only lost 4 million. But that loss is accelerating. The pay TV industry is in a period of unprecedented global change. Many service providers are facing the perfect storm of slowing growth, intensifying competition, and business model disruption that's being driven by changing consumer behavior and the proliferation of cheaper over-the-top services delivered over the internet. In Q2 of 2017, the US pay TV market lost almost 1 million customers. Now, the transitioning viewing habits are even more apparent with teens and millennials who are going directly to the internet for viewing content. With the digital transition, teens and millennials continue to shift away from regular TV, and they prefer short digital video, social media platforms, and streamed full-length shows and movies. Now, as viewing habits continue to change, at Pokémon we strive to make our animation accessible for fans to enjoy however they choose to view content. While the current season premieres on pay TV on DXD, on Netflix fans can watch the entire first season along with the last 2 years of content and several movies. We also have additional seasons available on Amazon and Hulu, and we offer a variety of Pokémon content on Pokémon TV app, which is our in-house application. Fortunately, we have a very large library of over 20 years of content that we can spread around and syndicate for people to enjoy. Our goal is to make it as easy as possible for fans to find content that they can enjoy. With the new digital era and the changing viewing habits, the TV business models have evolved too. The old winner was Disney, who could monetize their captive TV audience with ads, consumer products, and park visits. The new winner is going to be the one who can best monetize the traffic that content generates on multiple platforms, as they will have more money to buy or create the content and also sell digital and physical goods. Case in point on the need to adapt. Disney just made a big announcement about their new strategy to go direct to consumer with streamed content. In June, the board of directors gathered to wrestle with how technology is disrupting the company's traditional movie, television, and theme park businesses. Cord cutting is accelerating much faster than expected. Live viewing of some children's programming is in free fall. And at the same time, streaming services like Netflix are experiencing explosive growth. In August, Disney announced that they would double down and are going to introduce 2 subscription streaming services. The first one will be focused on sports programming to be made available through the ESPN app, and they're targeting spring of 2018. The other one, centered on movies and television shows from Disney, Pixar, Lucasfilms, and Marvel, is targeting 2018. The question is it too late? Disney will most likely continue to be successful because their content's amazing, but perhaps on a smaller scale. The content's still viable, but their business model is exposed. Disney no longer has the edge of a captive TV audience. Their marketing costs will increase dramatically, and they will need to determine how they can best monetize these new eyeballs wherever they can get them. Now, traditional media companies are also being impacted by the video game industry. Video game companies are evolving into all-around entertainment companies. Most games now provide consumers with entertainment on 3 different levels: playing, viewing, and creating. And 2017 is a landmark year for the game industry, with revenues expected to exceed $100 billion. Now, game companies have led the way in innovating business models to suit the digital age. It's what they do. As traditional media struggles to offer interactive component to their content, game companies are quickly learning how to monetize their player base. And the biggest game companies already entertain a far greater audience than many of the world's largest entertainment companies. Case in point, over 650 million people downloaded Pokémon Go in 4 weeks, and that's without it being available in China, India, or Russia. That's a lot of people. Another example, for the launch of Overwatch, which is another popular video game, Blizzard Entertainment published a series of 5 animated shorts for the small screen on YouTube. These 2 to 3 minute shorts helped develop the lore of the game, and fans really appreciated them. And these shorts achieved over 12 million views each. Now, this is something that Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokémon have been doing for years, creating animated content in support of the game and the brand. Interest in video game content continues to grow. Another example, last December, Supercell published an animated series called Clash-orama. It's set in the Clash of Clans, Clash Royale world, which is another very popular mobile game. I know my husband plays it very, very frequently. These 9 to 11 minute shorts have over 30 million views each. Some even have 40 million. I mean, these are big numbers to get people to engage with content. For Pokémon, we published Pokémon Generations, which is a series of Pokémon shorts that were published on YouTube to support our 20th anniversary. These shorts also achieved millions of views, maybe not 30 or 40 million, but millions. Twitch and Facebook also generate huge numbers for game-related content. As disruption has broken down the content distribution monopolies, the digital market has been flooded with content that generates enormous views. Now to break through, you still need to have really good content that people will enjoy, but it doesn't need to be really expensive, nor does it have to come from a major brand. The Game Lab here at Claremont will be producing short-form content on its YouTube channel to help promote the games that the students are developing. And these videos will be published across the YouTube and social media platforms. What used to cost millions of dollars and was once only possible for major brands can now be produced by a few students in a lab. I should say a few very smart, talented, creative students. Children's media viewing habits continue to radically change as the technology continues to provide new ways to consume content. And as I said, in order to stay relevant and appealing, companies need to adapt to how children access and engage with content across the multiple devices and platforms. And in order to do this, companies need to make sure that their rights allow them to put the content in the right place at the right time. When I started at Pokémon in 2007, our broadcast partner controlled all of our rights. We couldn't do anything. Our hands were tied. But over the last decade, we have successfully adapted our strategy and now are able to license specific rights for specific content on specific platforms for a limited period of time. And that's quite an accomplishment in the traditional licensing structure of the media industry. It's at Pokémon Company, for each country, we determine the best outlets for our fans and try to make sure we can place content there for the fans to enjoy. So now that disruption in children's TV is in full swing, the question is, who's going to win? Content is king, but it isn't sustainable without great monetization. Whoever can do both is going to win. Netflix has great content, but currently they have a single form of monetization. I'm sure they're trying to find more. Amazon is creating more content, and they already have quite a fine-tuned monetization scheme. Disney needs to adapt and no longer has the advantage of a captive TV audience. Can they aggregate enough eyeballs to drive their consumer products and parks businesses? I hope so. Time will tell. They'll most likely be quite successful. But as the disruption continues to accelerate, it will be interesting to see which strategy wins. That's all I have. Thank you.